Lights, camera, Barstool, movie picks of the week. Streaming picks. Jeff D. Lowe, Ken Jack, Gooch. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button on the channel so you know when our other videos are coming out. You can check our reviews out. We got Kills of the Flower Moon up. We are doing a Scorsese tier. All good stuff coming up. But today, as per usual, middle of the week, we're dropping some picks. What to watch on streaming. 3 picks each, 9 picks in total. I'll start it out. We'll go Marty for me. On Prime and Paramount Plus. Always nice is on 2 platforms. Bringing Out the Dead with Nick Cage. Very underrated, underappreciated movie for Martin Scorsese. Very underappreciated Nick Cage role. Something much earlier in his career. Very different. Or not much earlier, but earlier in his career than he is now. It's not like fucking Wolf of Wall Street time. But very different type of movie. Gets a little wacky. But that's kind of what you want from a director like Martin Scorsese. It's a little something different in terms of like the space and the realm that it kind of goes over. And again, you still get that. If you like a good dedicated Nick Cage performance, you're going to get that in this one. One of the more underrated, because there's a handful. We did our tier list. There's a handful of like older, not even forgotten ones. Like obviously After Hours isn't forgotten, but there are older ones that just don't totally get the shine that, you know, especially the newer ones like Goodfellas get.
Yeah. I think that movie kind of gets lost in the shuffle in the 90s for Cage because like he had just done Leaving Las Vegas probably a couple of years before or whatever. And like that's just like that's Cage 90s, right? It's like that. And then before that, like probably Raising Arizona. And then everything else in the 90s for him, I feel like kind of gets a wash other than like big action shit like Con Air. So it is a really good watch.
So simple premise. He's a paramedic and he's kind of losing his mind and witnessing bad stuff. And it just kind of it's perfect. It's like a perfect Nick Cage role.
It's funny because like you bring up like Martin Scorsese's like forgotten films, like people, especially like Gen Z, not to generalize them, but like they'll think that Martin Scorsese has just done like mob movies and only mob movies. Like yesterday I saw a tweet, someone like, yeah, like Martin Scorsese hates horror movies. It's like, what are you like Cape Fear exists.
Yeah.
Like he's done horror movies. Like he loves the genre.
Imagine doing so many good movies, people forget you have other good movies. Like that's just he's too many. He's got to make more stinkers.
Yeah, or he needs to make like purposely stinky mob movies so people forget that he made like 3 of the best of all time.
Like retroactive credit on Gotti. Like no, I actually like you remember what is it? Didn't like J.K. Rowling ghostwrite that book or she? It's like I actually directed Gotti. Everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Ken, 86 out of 100 for me. I'm Bringing Out the Dead. Ken Jack, your first pick.
I'll start out with Netflix. And where was my first pick? I had it written down on a post-it. There it is. On Netflix, Conan the Barbarian. I like Conan the Barbarian a lot. And I think that it's a movie where you watch it and you might think like on its face because in the beginning of it, it's like corny, sword and sandal fantasy shit, like just based on like some of the production value. But like there's some really cool shit in it beyond early Arnold trying to figure out how to act stuff. Because this movie realized that his strength is literally his strength and like not making him like speak and do bits and shit like that. Like just have him be a big, massive presence and everything else will come in like into that through like kind of the gravity of that level of his performance. And I think on top of that, James Earl Jones, awesome performance from him. Really, 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 really cool. The scene I think his name is like Thulsa Doom or something like that. Cool ass name. There's a scene where like he stares down Arnold's mom and like with like using like hypnosis kind of deal. And like that is just his voice obviously legendary. So many great moments from him in that. And then like kind of leads into a really big grand fight. And the ending fight I think is really cool. And like again, the effects, some of the practical stuff looks lame. Some of it looks great because they just have like a trillion extras in it. But still, like it's I think a very fun watch. Maybe a little long, but other than that, I really enjoy Conan the Barbarian.
So not the one with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, no, not the 2011 one.
Which apparently, that is correct, 2011. That is streaming on Netflix and Hulu, and it looks like also it's just streaming everywhere. Like
no one's watching
like this. Every service owns its rights. Like, please watch this awful remake.
Who was in that one other than because there was one other name other than Momoa, but
Stephen Lang.
He was Doom, I think, right? Or no, he was a sidekick. Was that it? I forget.
I guess I don't remember that movie really at all. Hold Horrible though. I just know it's horrible.
Yeah, no
I
good.
almost joked this. I almost said I'm going to rewatch it. I'm not going to rewatch it. Absolutely not.
That 2011 one didn't work, but I do think that's a franchise you could reboot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like that's fun. Like just big dummy.
You just,
Big
but
dummy
that's the
with
thing
sword.
is that you need to you need to like cast someone who doesn't have aspirations to do anything else, really. You know what I mean? You just need like a big ass Chad dude that like is not really capable of like. He's like, oh, I need to delay filming. I got to go do this like fucking Denny Villeneuve movie or some shit.
Alan Richardson, get him in the room.
He'd be a perfect Conan.
I need him to get cast as something. Like, I'm obsessed with like because we just don't have those guys anymore. Just the big meatheads, like.
Reacher's so good too. Like not like some excellent television show. I really liked Reacher a lot. More people should watch that.
There's like you brought up last week with like Ooga Booga caveman brains, like from Wolf of Wall Street. Like there is something innate in us where it's just like seeing a big, massive, like roided out guy on screen with minimal plot. Like it just works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that could be him.
Yeah. You said Conan the Barbarian. My first pick is going to be just Barbarian. One of our biggest surprises from last year, horror film, smaller on release, but I think it picked up a second life in streaming. But if you haven't seen it yet, it's on Max. Written and directed by Zach Kreger, who, if you grew up on the internet in the early 2000s, you'll know him from Whitest Kids You Know. It is awesome to see these comedy directors just make their way into horror and kind of just dominate it. And he knocked it out of the park in his first turn. Georgina Campbell, breakout role for her. Bill Skarsgård in there for, well, I don't want to spoil anything. Bill Skarsgård in there. Justin Long, Kirk Minahan's favorite performance of 2022, I believe.
Right.
And Richard Brake, who is, you'd recognize him immediately once you see him on screen. Just a terrifying looking old man.
He's a face guy. He's an all-time great face guy. And like he'll show up in the most random shit you're watching, like Doom. He's just like a guy that plays the same role in like every movie I've ever seen him in. And even he was in Death of Stalin. Like he's like the guard that watches Stalin's son, like Rupert Friend. And like, it just he shows up and you just see his gaunt ass face, and you're just like, love this dude.
Yeah.
Love this dude.
But yeah, no, if you haven't seen Barbarian yet, like this is the time to watch it. Horror this time of year. It's phenomenal. It's a really, really well done, tight horror movie.
Tight.
Yeah.
Good pick and one of the better ones of last year. It was never going to get award love, but it was even good enough where people were kind of like, oh, this maybe should. Like enough people were talking about it. Were like, oh, will it sneak in somewhere? It didn't, but yeah, it was deserving of it. Next one is a Ken Jack favorite, I know, but also favorite of mine. I have the Criterion. You can stream it on Criterion and Max. It's Police Story.
Oh, I got both of them right over there.
Yeah, I don't want to suggest multiple, but it's a combo suggestion. If you watch Police Story, you got to watch Police Story too. You also got to do both of them. Really great. If you collect,
they did a
if
great
you collect
job
physical media and you want something cool from Criterion, Police Stories is a great one. Just a Jackie Chan classic. It's him at his best. It's two of the best. I mean, there's a whole franchise. There's more than just two of them, but the first two are just fucking dynamite. If you like Jackie Chan, if you like those types of movies, like it is an absolute can't miss. If you've never seen Police Story, you just need to watch it.
Yeah. And that's I think one of the cool things about that is like you'll very much notice how different it is from almost any other movie you're going to watch, like action wise, because again, like a lot of it is doing your own stunts, but also they built like these massive set pieces that they just blow up. And like you get to see it physically happen. There's not like fucking green screen going on. Like they built an entire village and destroy it within the first like 20 minutes of the movie. And like there's dudes like jumping out like off like 20-foot like surfaces like onto pavement. There's that one scene where he slides down the pole in the mall, and like I think Jackie Chan like fractured like 10 vertebrae doing it or something like that. And I think when I was watching something, they called the movie something funny. I think it was like the movie of Glass or something, because the amount of breakaway glass that they destroyed in the movie like set records or something like that. And both of them are just incredible fight movies.
It's like unparalleled, unapologetic, good fucking shit. Like it's just a good time, but it also absolutely doesn't like skimp on anything in terms of quality. Like it's a very high quality movie. Both are like they're very good. It's one of those like it's a rare combo.
Yeah, and it's one of the few movies you'll watch, at least if you're so used to the more recent ones. Like you just get, instead of it like breaking, cutting to this, like shaky cam shit like that, they just put a camera down and let these dudes go to work. It's a steady, it's like on a tripod staring at one spot, and it's a dude doing like 10 hits before you get to another angle. It's crazy, absolutely crazy shit.
Yeah, like
Police story.
no matter how you feel about Jackie Chan, just a fucking genius when it came to like fight coordination, like
Yep.
blending comedy and action. Was it Sam Hargrave we interviewed and he cited that as like one of his like biggest, like his favorite movies, biggest influences? Yeah.
JJ Perry too, yeah.
Yeah, watch it on.
I think that was it. JJ Perry was who it was.
Watch it on Max or Criterion. Just sign up for Criterion. It's cheap. You get good emails about their deals and stuff too, but also there's a lot of things you can stream on there. A lot of older movies, check things out. Ken Jack's second pick.
My second pick is going to be First Reformed on Max right now. First Reformed, I think, is a movie that really kind of, it's another flew under the radar type deal. A24 movie. It's a movie where I watched it and I was like, kind of go into it and I'm like, this Ethan Hawke fella, I know everything I need to know about Ethan Hawke. I know he doesn't have us that extra sort of. There's limitations to what Ethan Hawke can do, and like this kind of dispelled all that. Like he really, I think, threw in a performance here where I was like, holy shit, this guy has these extra levels I haven't seen in these other movies. Awesome movie. Paul Schrader, obviously, we're in Scorsese talk. That's one of his dudes. Was co-writer on like everything he did. Really cool story. Like kind of like a priest in shutting down. What do you call it? Church. He's like talk a guy like an eco-terrorist off the ledge, basically. Really cool. Fucked up in a lot of ways and just like beautifully shot as well. Really enjoyed First Reformed.
I would argue you can make. I won't say because I don't know who else I could say, but I think I would argue firmly top 3 most underrated performance of the 2010s, and I think you could very well say the most underrated performance of the 2010s.
Yeah,
Ethan Hawke in First Reformed, very underappreciated at like a mainstream level.
It's just kind of Ethan Hawke's entire career at this point.
Right, that's very true.
Yeah.
Like the only good part of like The Purge, like just like random stuff he's just great in no matter what.
Yeah. And again, I think it's just the extra gear here that really threw me for a loop because I'm like, oh, the dude from Daybreakers and Gattaca. I know everything I need to know. And nope. Like Training Day, I'm not like, oh, that's a great Ethan Hawke role or something like that. I'm just like, yeah, he's there. It's Denzel's movie. And no one else's, to be honest. And like, but it's his movie, this one, and he fucking crushed it. Really good.
Great pick. Really good list right now. First one might get a rewatch for me this weekend. It is such a good role. Gooch, your second pick.
That's so annoying. Sorry. My next pick is going to be a movie that came out earlier this year and kind of immediately went to streaming. It's Sanctuary. Erotic thriller starring Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott. That is on Hulu right now and Max. I believe both of them.
It's erotic.
It's definitely on Hulu. Yeah, and it kind of harkens back to, like 90s erotic thrillers, but I think it leans a little bit more into just straight up thriller. It almost plays out like a play. You never really leave this singular hotel room. Margaret Qualley delivers a very over-the-top performance, but it works, in my opinion. Christopher Abbott, also phenomenal. I wouldn't be shocked if they get maybe not Oscar love, but love at a lot of these smaller award shows coming up. I'm not sure. Gotham Awards just started yesterday.
That'll get a Gotham or a Satellite Award.
That's a Gotham ass movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
It'll be like Gotham, the Spirit Awards, like shit like that.
Saturday would work. Yeah, but yeah. Dude, that guy, Christopher Abbott, he kind of rocks. Everything I see him in, I'm like, wow, this dude is he's got a darkness to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. Not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was very well done. In a directorial debut from, I can't remember the name. Zachary Wagon.
He's kind of like if Kid Harington could act. That's what he kind of looks like to me. He's like a slightly uglier Kid Harington if he could act. Like he sacrificed, like the water had like a level. He maxed out his points in Madden. You know what I mean? Like of potential on acting versus handsomeness.
Yeah, he took like 5 extra inches on the height.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But definitely worth checking out if that's kind of like your jam, like those erotic thrillers.
It is in terms of like this year's movies, we haven't really talked too much about it on other stuff, and I guess I'll say it here. I've never seen a trailer have more real estate in theaters than that new Paul Giamatti teacher movie.
Oh
It
my
plays before
god, dude, I'm
it,
sick
first of
of
all,
it.
it's Dead Poet Society 2. It plays before every movie.
See, the holdovers, right?
Yeah.
Holdovers. Yeah, it may be good. I've never seen a movie that is it's before everything. Like everything, regardless of genre, regardless of rating, it is the first trailer out of the gates every time. They must have paid $1 billion to do it. It's crazy.
It's not like it's fucking Dune or something or some big budget thing. It's fucking Dead Poet, like you're saying. It's some indie little like Paul Giamatti playing a 70s teacher. Like what the fuck?
It's like Alexander Payne too, right? Like I can't remember who's directing
Something
it.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like not even like it really makes no sense of the push it's getting.
It started as the first time I saw it. It started as one of those trailers that isn't even a trailer. It almost plays like a commercial, like after Nuvi, where it's kind of like they're giving you a preview and not even a trailer. I was like, all right, that's interesting. Like that seems like it's not going to. But now it's playing as a full-on trailer before everything. It's weird. I've never seen a trailer have so much real estate in theaters. Crazy. Coming out soon, I guess. My last pick, we'll go with a bunch of people from Scorsese movies, I guess. We'll go Bob De Niro because he's in Coast Flower Moon. We're going to Michael Mann, Heat, 91 out of 100.
Hell yeah.
Talk about you want people to talk about 3-hour movies, basically 3 hours, and it's 3 hours of just fucking perfect crime drama. I mean, just a fucking incredible movie. It is. Look at that.
Yeah, baby.
Is that a Heat steelbook?
Great font and great spacing, by the way, on there.
It's a great physical media cover. Heat is. I mean, it's literally released in 1995, so it's kind of perfect. But it is as 90s of a movie as a 90s movie gets. Like in terms of good 90s movies. Like when it comes to thinking about like if you pick like 6 movies that represent like the 90s, especially in like crime, action, drama, like the Heat is up there. He is so perfectly 90s. It holds up well. It's great in every dramatic crime thrill part. Cast incredible. Kilmer, De Niro, Pacino. Fucking all the way down John Voight. I mean, you just go on and on. It is such a good movie, and I don't know, just one of those where I see Robert De Niro. He was amazing in Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm like, fuck, I gotta watch Heat.
Great cast. All the supporting actors are amazing, and also a lot of cool like behind the scenes stuff too. Like the whole big gunfight, like them doing that all with the thought process being we're gonna like. In post, we'll add all the gunfire effects. We're not going to use the gunfire effects that we actually physically get from the set. And then Michael Mann's like, no, actually, it sounds way cooler when it's echoing off the buildings and everything like that. So let's just use that. And like that gunfight scene is like it feels real. Like it sounds like you're watching a real gunfight. It's awesome. Really great movie. Awesome heist. Everything about it's perfect. The dinner scene, dude. I mean, tough to get better than that. The diner scene with him and Pacino and De Niro, tough to get better than that.
Yeah, that's one of those all-time classics that I actually didn't see until about 2 months ago. And it, of course, lived up to the hype. Sometimes those older movies, and yeah, 1995 is old now. Those older movies just don't hold up the way you want them to, and that one does. Especially if like you're a big Dark Knight fan. I don't know if Nolan's ever admitted to or said that he drew influence from that, but it's got heavy Dark Knight vibes, or I guess Dark Knight has heavy Heat vibes. Especially in that relationship between Pacino and De Niro. It's really, really, really good. Michael Mann, all time just dude's rock director.
Oh yeah, Netflix always has movies like this on there. So I'm not saying Netflix doesn't, but like especially since Max and all these other services have gotten more movies, like I take advantage. Like if I'm paying for Netflix, if I see something like Heat on Netflix, I'm watching it. So that's my next pick. Ken Jack, last pick.
My last pick today will be on Hulu. Just a nice little easy movie to watch. Meet the Parents. I like Meet the Parents. I'm a big fan of Meet the Parents. I like the whole thing. I don't know if that makes me dumb or stupid or like peanut brained, but like Meet the Fockers. I'll watch all that shit. It's just something really funny about it to me. And I like the Ben Stiller dynamic with Robert De Niro the whole time. We're doing a lot of De Niro today, it seems like. But I just really, really enjoy Meet the Parents. Fucking, I got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? It's just funny. It's just funny. There's no two ways around it. That's a funny thing to say. And
Meet the Parents is fucking great.
It's just a funny ass movie, and it's like one of those ones where like you don't have to like take it seriously. You don't have to be sitting there searching for some crazy higher level comedy or anything like that. It's just like you can sit there with your significant other, whatever. You can sit there banging out and like however long it is. I would guess like an hour and a half, 45, and just have a fun ass time. A fun ass time with Meet the Parents.
What's Terry Polo up to these days?
Great question.
Not much. Also played the First Lady in The West Wing, but
what a great name.
Meet the Parents, obviously like all-time classic, but ever since Neighbors came out, or what was it, Neighbors or Neighbors 2 came out, it makes me think of that when they had the Robert De Niro party, and Dave Franco's dressed up like De Niro from Meet the Parents as that dumb little cat. Jinxie cat.
Who played his wife in that? I forget.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I think Meet the Fockers, I'm with you, Ken Jack. I think Meet the Fockers is pretty good too. Little Fockers stinks, but Meet the Fockers.
That was Hoffman and Rats. I forget the mom's name.
Is Barbara Streisand?
That's what I thought, but I don't think it is it. Barbara Streisand?
I know. Well, Blythe Danner plays like the husband of De Niro's character plays. It's Terry Polo's mom.
It is Barbara Streisand. Okay, Roz Fokker.
Yeah, they have that massage scene or like yoga scene they do or something like that. Yeah,
dude,
that's such an early 2000s pick to have like Barbara Streisand playing Ben Stiller's mom. Like that. That's so that makes so much sense,
dude. Honestly, they should just had Jerry Stiller play his dad. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's one of those things, and we've been talking about, I think, Jerry Stiller a lot in The Office, too, just because people have been getting back on King of Queens because of the memes and all that shit. Dude, Jerry Stiller was so funny. He is unbelievable. So good. Dude, every line he says, he could say anything that would have made me laugh. But yeah, so I'm going to Meet the Parents guy. Just him.
Gooch, last pick.
Last pick for me. Pseudo Halloween pick. Not really. 1993, written by Robbie Fox, I Married an Axe Murderer, starring Mike Myers.
One-half movie.
Yeah, it is. It's not like the funniest movie of all time, but it's very like enjoyable. Mike Myers in the 90s, like I don't love the way his career has turned out. Obviously, he's richer than God at this point because of Shrek, but damn, he was just like everything he did could make me laugh. Just the faces, the accents, the cadence, like it
plays just everybody in it too.
Yeah, him and his dad talking about the Triumvirate or the Illuminati or something.
And then they made this show out of it too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. The Bentaveret.
Wasn't good.
Yeah. Just great. It's very 90s, extremely 90s, but very enjoyable and like one of those smaller movies that I've just always had a soft spot for.
Yeah. It's I think you put it perfectly in that it is really, you're not going to laugh as much as like an Austin Powers or anything like that, but it is like a very fun exercise, if that makes sense. You know, like I think that's the best way I would describe it. Very fun exercise. It's Mike Myers playing a bunch of people and just fun. It's a fun time. And his dad in that Scottish accent or whatever. Yeah,
he's addicted to that Scottish accent.
Yeah, he loves it. Oh, baby.
All right, everyone, rip your list. I'll read mine. Bringing Out the Dead, Prime, and more Paramount Plus, Police Story, HBO Max for Criterion, and Heat on Netflix. Ken Jack.
Conan the Barbarian on Netflix, First Reformed on Max, and Meet the Parents on Hulu.
I have Barbarian on Max, Sanctuary on Hulu, and So I Married an Axe Murderer on Max.
Good picks all around. That is it for our streaming picks of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and drop your suggestion of the week below. Give us a pick to watch in the comments. That's it. For Gooch, Ken Jack, I'm Jeff D'Lo. We'll talk to you next time.